Now back to AHA Business Radio, creating AHA moments for business, by business, and about business. Once again, here's your host, Alan Hirsch.
Welcome back to the show. This segment of the show, I'll be talking to Tom Ingegno. I hope got that right, of Charm City Integrated. First question, Tom, what motivates you to get up in the morning and go to work?
The ability to help people. That is in itself what drives everything I do at my center. It drives my business. It drives my own personality. So
what is it that the Charm City Integrated is about?
So Charm City Integrative Health it came about after 16 years of me being a licensed acupuncturist. I wanted to combine therapies that did basically what acupuncture did, but in different methods. So acupuncture from a Western standpoint really increases circulation, reduces inflammation, and helps that blood get to the tissue that needs repair so the body can repair itself. So we added a whole bunch of services, and we're constantly looking to evolve and expand and add more services that do that via different modalities.
So what are some of so for 16 years you were
I still am.
You still am an acupuncturist. So how'd you get started at doing that?
Okay.
I don't want to needle you about it, but anyway, I'm sorry.
It happens.
I'm sure it does. But how'd you get started at doing that? And because I think that might be of interest to people.
So, it's a really long story, but it was a bunch of what I'll call serendipitous events. My grandfather was a pharmacist. And I remember very clearly one day him counting out pills. And the old school pill counters, they were like a clipboard that had a little side thing that you dump the pills that you didn't need back into the bottle, and you dump the pills that you were going to give to the patient in the other bottle. And he was counting them out, and he goes, these pills are and $5 a piece. This guy has to take 3 of them a day for the rest of his life. He doesn't have insurance. Do you know how much that is? And he looked at me, and then he said, and I remember this part very clear. I don't know how to fix this. I'm going to leave that to you. So I wanted to do things. I was one of those kids that, hey, you're smart enough. You should be a doctor. You should be a doctor. You should be a doctor. But I wanted to do things that weren't, like say, a drug intervention. How can we get your body working better and better? And that's we're seeing Western medicine now start to catch up with that model with things called functional medicine, and even I threw in the word integrative medicine into my business name as well.
So what are some of because it's your facility you're just not doing acupuncture for people. You're doing all kinds of and I don't know what to call it, whether alternative medicines or alternative healing processes, but there are some very interesting things that you do down in your shop.
So no one knows what to call it. I mean, it's the flavor of the week. What's the new buzzword? But really, what we're trying to do is combine some classic therapies. And when I say classic, I'm not saying your regular everyday Western medicine. I'm saying things that date back thousands of years: acupuncture, massage, cupping therapy, moxibustion, which a lot of people don't talk about, but it's an herb that we burn on the surface or near the surface of the skin, and it's the other half of acupuncture, if you will. And these have been around since before time in a lot of cases. And then we're doing some more cutting edge things.
Well, there's a thing that I just learned about Jinjitsu. It's a totally different type of thing. But
yeah. There's a lot of cool stuff out there, and that is a huge animal, what I would call traditional medicines. And a lot of it has been shown, even though it's evolved over thousands of years before we might have known all these little structural details inside the body, evolved with this kind of, hey, this works, so we're going to use it. And then centuries later, decades later, whatever, eons later, if you want, we see some medical research coming out going, hey, these guys seem to have known that this, and this happens. So when we're looking at some of the newer therapies we have, we do an oxygen therapy, and we just recently upgraded to something that actually gets up to 400% more oxygen into your body for a period of time, which oxygen helps energize and heal your cells, as well as helps you detoxify. We have a... Oh, go ahead, sorry.
No, I was just going to say, and I don't mean it this way, and I won't go about detoxifying, but anyway,
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well,
particularly where you're in Canton and all the bars down there.
I gotcha. Listen, we're looking at some services that might be Sunday morning services.
But anyway,
get them done.
Right. But people have had toxic problems, whether it's drugs, whatever it is that they need.
Yeah, and even not even talking about drugs, just our regular body, we make waste at a cellular level, and sometimes our body is not so good at cleaning that up, and sometimes that's stuff we're putting into our body, and sometimes that's just the way our body's breaking down. So adding this oxygen in helps clean that up, helps detoxify the body, and of course, oxygen is necessary for every cell to function. You breathe both in and out, but on a cellular level as well.
Yeah, just want to remind the listeners out there, if you have any questions or comments, want to talk to Tom about some of these medicines or healing processes that he has, give us a call, 410-481-1300. So you also do something called cryotherapy?
Yep, and that's funny that it's finally caught on in America. So it dates back to 1978, and I actually saw Floyd Mayweather was my first exposure to it. I was watching one of his fight training videos from Showtime, and he was in this chamber and he was shivering and there was smoke and it was wow, what is that? So I started doing research, and it sounds insane, but the feedback we've gotten in our clinic and my personal experiences with it have been absolutely amazing. We chill your body with air that's been cooled with liquid nitrogen. So that steam that you're seeing is actually frozen water vapor. And what that does is wrings your body out like a sponge. I always say it's not cold for the sake of cold. The idea is we're getting a compression. We're squeezing the skin, the fascia, the muscles, constricting the blood vessels, squeezing out the joint spaces. And then when you come out, your body wants to warm back up. It opens up all those blood vessels and pumps fresh, new blood back into that tissue. And originally in 1978 in Japan, it was invented for rheumatoid arthritis. So we have both top-level boxers and professional athletes.
I mean, you actually were working with the new indoor football team.
Yeah, the Baltimore Brigade. They're a great group of guys, a lot of fun.
Yeah, they were using that as part of their training process.
They did most of the things at our office. They really enjoyed it, and it was funny. They'd come in and they'd say, "Hey, you're the only sponsor we use and the only one that seems to care about us." And I shouldn't say that, but our goal is to take care of people and get them where they want to be.
Well, your goal, as you said earlier, is to help people.
Yeah. Very true.
And you do that in what you do every day in dealing with your clients.
Yes.
So you've only been doing this for a short period of time now, but you've really built a nice business down there for yourself.
Yeah, the Canton community loves us, and we're very happy about that. That was all part of the reason we moved down there. We wanted to be able to reach those people that were looking for whether it was pain relief or performance enhancement and everything in between. And we found a beautiful space, and for over a year now, we've been doing quite well there. We're very happy.
That's good. So if you were, you've been doing it for a year. I know you've had growing pains and stuff going through it. But if someone else were going to start a business, what would be one piece of advice you'd give them?
Just one.
Or two.
Well, the first thing is, and I've been asked this question before, and I used to say, start within your limits. And now I would say, estimate a little bit higher than your limits and reach a little bit further. Take that step and above all else, be passionate about it. If it's not a calling you, if it's not something that drives you, and it's not something that every morning I get up and say, I want to learn something else about this, or what else can I do at my clinic, or how can I do this better? That gets me going, and I think from the feedback I get from my patients and people that come into my center, I'm hoping that reflects. So that passion has to be there. Well,
it's interesting you say that. That's one of the most important things when I talk to prospective people that are talking about starting business, or if you don't have a passion for it, it's work.
Mm-hmm.
And why should you do it? It's if you don't, and there's a lot of things you're going to have to do that have nothing to do with the products and services you sell. If you don't have a passion, it's very difficult to get through those times.
Very true. Very true.
Okay, we are out of time. Got to go to the next commercial break. Before we do, Tom, how can the listeners, if they want some of your treatments, how can they reach you?
So either give us a call, 443-869-6584, or go to our website, charmcityintegrative.com.